Well, here we go. Everyone's favourite episode, the fire scene. Now, you all know who I am. If you don't recognise my voice by now, then there's something wrong with you. And I've got a special guest with me today to help me out. Who would like to introduce herself? Go!
Indeed I would. My name's Yenta Sobbert, and you might remember the character I played, which was called Heather Trapp. However, I'm sure that you'd remember me more as Mouse.
You see, I'd actually forgotten your name was Heather Trapp.
No, you said Mouse.
Mouse Trap.
Trap.
That's
Get it?
right. Yes, I get it all right. Mm-hmm. This is your last episode in the show, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
However, I'm only in the beginning for, a small amount of time. However, filming this particular scene, well, obviously it took a lot of choreographing because of using the stunt people that had to be wrapped in a solution of wool mix, eucalyptus, and then woolen bandages to actually...
Did you witness all that?
Oh, yes, but I had to do the screams as...
I thought that the girl who actually... Was it a girl who played you?
Was.
It was, yes, who
Yes.
actually got the walk really, really well, which we'll see a bit later, of course, because we all know, of course, what happens to poor old Mouse in this episode. I assume you know. If you don't, anyway, we won't give it away. You'll just have to wait and see.
And
This is scary. Wouldn't that be scary in that situation, being locked in, not being able to get out? I think those women were doing very well for extras, don't you?
Oh, absolutely.
Our extras, of course, had been in the show for so long, they had named characters, and we didn't regard them as extras. Well, not all of us did.
Well, no, and talking of extras, that's how I actually started.
Yes, I was aware of that.
Yes. So I defied the law, and I was very fortunate that my first episode... Well, let me backtrack a little. I was working as an extra, doing theatre outside, and the thing was, I used to arrive early. It's always been a golden rule of arriving early. And I was looking at the characters that were in Prisoner, and then I had a look at the socio-economic factors of actual prisoners. And at one stage they were used as orphanages, as dumping grounds for children. So they just went from one institution to another. Oh, there we go. There's gorgeous Anna Ruby.
Yes, good actress.
She is. Yeah.
Do you remember actually, you probably didn't work an enormous amount in that smoke, did you?
No, I didn't. But didn't we have, I think it was another escape where we had the
Yeah, I just remember
smoke
days and days of working in that dreadful stuff, and it was the stuff they used for incense in churches, and it smelt like it, and I just hated it. There you are, being burnt up to death.
That's right.
Oh, terrible.
Or another word for it is calcination.
Calcination.
Purification through fire.
Yeah, my goodness me. And in this case, not self-immolation.
No.
Now, this character, Fields, she has all this hidden stuff that she can use to incriminate the freak. And I had people coming up to me in the street saying, "Do you know where she's hidden the stuff? She's hidden it in the third drawer down in the governor's office." And I'd say, "Yes, I know." "How do you know?" "I read the script." But people took it so seriously.
Well, that's the beauty of television, in the sense you go into their
Beauty's
living
not a word I
rooms.
would have used.
Oh, come along.
Yeah,
Well,
sorry,
which
I
word
interrupted.
would you have used?
Oh, go on.
Okay, so, well, the reality of television as opposed to theatre or film is that we actually go into their environment.
That's right, we do.
So,
yes.
obviously, we belong to them.
To them, yes. We are their possessions. Yeah.
Yes.
Incidentally, when they were when the freak was doing that bashing of my head on the floor, we actually had a piece of rubber under my head, I have to tell you, which was very nice of them. They decided not to actually bash my head against the stone floor for a change. But the sound wasn't good enough, so they actually used the sound of a cabbage going bash bash on the floor, which is common, I believe, for head wounds in film.
Well, that's like the sound of the stabbing in the Alfred Hitchcock film.
Yes.
The old knife in the bucket of sand.
Yes, that's right.
Amazing, just imagination. So talking of imagination, that's what I thought about when I commenced as an extra in Prisoner. And the thing was that I thought of the Commedia dell'arte characters and what would be quite diverse to the other characters that had already
That
been
would
written
have been
for.
very important to be different to the others, yes.
Yeah, so I based it on Harlequin. So that's what I based the character of Mouse on, and I was very, very fortunate that my first script, guess who wrote it?
Oh, it would have to be Denise.
Yes,
And
Denise
the best writer
Morgan.
ever.
Absolutely. And I think I think it was it a Rod Hardy
Could be early on,
direction?
yes. Mm.
Yes. And then, of course, one of my favourite directors was Kendall.
Oh, well, see, I like working with Kendall too.
I loved working with Kendall. Okay, so he was a little unconventional in his approach.
Well, his very, very first block, he made an actress quite angry because he asked me to do something and didn't tell her what I was going to do.
I remember that. Yes.
And I had to throw something at her as she made her entrance. And my shot was so brilliant that it went so close to her and didn't touch it, but her hair lifted from the air. And I hit the door jamb, which is what I was aiming at.
Yes, but notice that he asked you.
Yes.
And
No,
no one-
he didn't ask me. He walked in and said, "Who's the best shot?" And everyone said, "Val."
Okay, so, well, it's a good way to cast accuracy.
And did Kendall actually direct some of your early blocks, did he?
He did,
Yeah,
he
all right.
did.
Lucky you.
Oh, absolutely. He was like he was like a Mothercraft nurse, the way that he'd actually extract and give birth to a performance.
Yes, he had very interesting ways of getting at what he wanted out of the actors. I used to sit and watch him, and it makes you think, I wonder what he's doing to me.
Well, talking of unconscious performances.
How soon after you did your first ep did you get more work? Were you used straight away?
Look, I think it was only a lapse of about 3 weeks, 3 weeks.
And then you came in as a
Yes.
full-time character. Isn't that great?
Oh,
Well done.
Look, it was wonderful, and the thing is that I wanted that so much.
Now, what was your attitude to the show in general?
Well, I was so fortunate because with the show, the cast and the crew, the writers, I was in the best company.
Yes, I think.
And
you're
because
right.
I
It was a
was-
great company. Mm.
And because I was the youngest
An
in the
ensemble.
cast at that stage, everybody was so generous to me in teaching me. So there wasn't, and I asked, and so exceptionally generous.
And it wasn't only actors that were taught on that show too. We trained directors, we trained stage floor managers and sound and lighting. It became a whole training program, I think. Writers and some producers.
That's one of the best things about an organism that's productive, because it is one of training.
And when, in fact, the director who directed this particular block, which was difficult, oh gosh, it must have been an expensive
I was
episode
thinking
too, with
about
all
that.
with all the police and the actual
Fire
brigades, and as you'll see later on, a Jordan frame and all that sort of thing, and real firemen and real police persons. It was a very expensive, and she was very fortunate that she was entrusted with an episode like that. But she had actually started off on the program as a director's assistant and actually moved up to being a director, which was great. And she actually won a number of awards. Sadly, I think she died this same year of a tragic accident in Bali, which was a great loss to us and the industry. Juliana Vogt we're talking about.
What was her nickname? Was it Aardvark?
Aardvark? Or Lips on Legs, she was called too. She had huge long legs. Very pretty girl.
She had, a beautiful torso, but literally
Legs to her
legs
eyebrows.
and a neck. Well, as Val said, lips on legs, and also a wonderful sense of humour.
Yes, she did.
And exceptionally generous. So generosity, that's one thing I remember about the show as well.
yes.
Yeah, and if I had any trouble, I would just ask for assistance. So this particular episode was written by another wonderful scriptwriter who was Annie Lucas.
Yes, indeed, of course, who is Ian Bradley's wife.
and also a wonderful actress.
Indeed, yes.
From WA, another.
Oh, well, all the best people come from Western Australia. We all know that.
I know. Well, I've got a great heritage from